welcome to As Thom Tells It, another episode. Tonight we have with us Julian. You're a coach for what? Empowerment.
Yes, I am.
Empowerment. Pretty powerful word. Tell me what it's all about, how you help people.
Absolutely. My goal is to help people become unbound from their own negative thoughts and their own negative thinking, their own negative mindsets. And I do that through my own personal stories from my own background, as well as teaching leadership skills, and that kind of bleeds into building professional skills as well.
So are there certain groups you help or anyone?
Right now I am doing small focus groups in certain areas, and I'm also doing some one-on-one coaching as well.
How can you help me? What problem do I have that you can help me with?
Perfect example. I came across a young lady who had a child in the middle of college.
Okay.
And she was with the father, and what happened is that it just didn't work out. She wanted to quit. She didn't know how she was going to go to school and take care of a newborn child. And she came to me and asked me, what can I do? I need some help. I need some guidance. And I became almost a life coach to her to help her through her first couple of semesters of college. And so it's my goal to help those folks who have a certain negative experience that they can't seem to get over, and help coach them through that through my own personal experiences.
I got a couple of people close to me that, I don't know if this would be the same thing. They're always living in the past. It's over. You can't do something. You got to think about today. What would you do with somebody like that?
I would describe how I became unstuck myself. I'm originally from an inner city environment, a project, and for a very long period of time in my life, I could not convince myself that I was worth more, that I deserved an education, that I deserved to go to school, that I deserved even love. So I think that through teaching and sharing my own experiences with others, I think I can help them say, okay, I was once stuck, and there are certain things that you can do to just empower yourself to get unstuck. To your point, getting out of the past, right? You have to first understand your own self-worth, right? And this is a self-evaluation period and I sit down with clients and I help them through certain steps that I have, and we go through the evaluation process. How would you value yourself? And we start to learn different things about you that you should be proud of. There are things that you should love about yourself. And once we can get towards a self-love, then I think we could begin the process of getting unstuck.
How long does that take in some cases? And I know this person I'm talking about, and I'm going, he's going to be with her for a while, just to make her, self-worth. It's amazing. This person doesn't take credit. People tell her she's doing great. She doesn't believe it. I'm going, unfortunately, I don't know what to say, that you need some help. Mm-hmm. If somebody's close to you, relative or something, you got to be careful on that stuff. So would you bring them through so many sessions or work with them for a period of time?
I personally don't set a limit, and maybe that's a fault of my own, but I believe in being focused on the client. And I have a young man in particular who, it's been a year, we're making progress, but he still feels that he needs to contact me, but we're cutting back on our sessions. So what I tell my clients is, when you feel ready, then that's when we can stop, and you can contact me sporadically. But I go until the client feels that they're ready to move forward and make a big step in their life. And that can take, it can be a year. Some folks, maybe it takes 6 months. It varies.
Is it easier if they're younger? Where, I'm 50 years old and, in 1971, who cares what happened then? But is it tougher with older people?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that with the more seasoned individual, I think it will take longer to get through. There's just more history there. There's more baggage there. When you're dealing with a younger individual, I think it's also easier to connect, because I'm not that far removed.
I really like the idea of the inner city thing, because now, but the person's still there. Mm-hmm. But you're trying to change mentally, right?
Right.
But even though, and some of them come out of the inner city or the ghetto and really do stuff, real good stuff like you. Mm-hmm. That's what I love to see, things like that, because it's so neglected in the inner city, and the schooling sucks and everything.
Absolutely.
Is it because of the environment they're in? They have self-doubt, or was it pushed on them? Somebody told them they weren't good. Is there a general census of why they feel that way?
I would describe it as almost a generational curse.
Oh, that's interesting.
For my family, my grandmother, she picked cotton, right? And when she got enough money to be able to move from the South, she moved from Anderson, South Carolina, up to New York. The only thing she could afford happened to be in the projects. She had 10 or so kids.
Wow.
It was very difficult to get by, and there wasn't an emphasis on education. There wasn't an emphasis.
Well, that's two generations ago. Yeah. Get by.
Figure out a way to make some money and
Eat.
And bare necessities,
Yeah.
right? Bare necessities. And so certain things get passed on to the next generation, and certain things don't, because the previous generation never had it. Get all the way to my mother, and just that attitude of lack. You know, the attitude of lack, it can bring you down. It can bring you down.
Especially if you're around it, right? And it's people you know or love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be the toughest one.
Absolutely. And when you don't see, all you see is your current environment day to day. I can only speak for myself. I lived on the 4th floor, and the elevators barely worked. And when they did work, they smelled like urine. I would walk up the staircase, and people would be smoking marijuana in the staircase. And this is what I would walk through every morning and every afternoon coming home from school, you know, as a 4th grader, a 5th grader. If that's all you see,
That's all you know.
and that's all you know.
And you think that's, you know, like, so that's why I see the young men that don't have fathers, and they go into the gang. I can understand that, because even though it's a bad figure, it's somebody to look up to, and we still have that primal thing, we got to look up to somebody.
Right.
Wow. What kind of a good story you got for me that you helped somebody?
I shared my story briefly about the young lady.
Yep.
I mentor young men ages 9 to 15 or so, and all of them are fatherless, you know, single mothers, and there's various stories. One young man in particular, he doesn't have much at home, and so I said, hey, listen, when we get together, I'll share food with you. You know, when we get together, we'll just talk, we'll just chat. I'll be that voice for you. If he needs a little bit of money in his pocket, you know, we're talking, you know, not much. These are teenagers, but if I don't help, then someone else on the street will.
In a bad way.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way. So you have kids who maybe they want to buy some lunch or something. I'll give you 10, 20 bucks, man. You don't have to go and do that. And let's just talk and just chat and just have these continual conversations. And through that, I'm really starting to see a change in them. When I first met him, very, very angry, very, very withdrawn. And again, I share my own stories.
Well, it's got to be no trust and worried every day. Like you said, walking through that stuff as a kid, you wonder you're going to get beat up or something worse, right?
Absolutely.
That's all they know.
Absolutely.
Now, so you said in the beginning they're a little resentful. Mm-hmm. You soften them up over 6 months or a year?
I soften them up through just sharing, just the way I'm being open and honest right now. I'm just sharing my experience. On the surface, you know, I don't look like what I've been through. You know, so once you get to know me and you get to talk to me, it's like, really? You know what? I want to know more. Tell me more, Julian. Really? You really been through that? I lived in the projects. I still don't know my father. My father left me the day I was born. You know, I was very angry for a long period of time. My mother, she was an addict, crack cocaine, and also schizophrenic.
Wow.
These are real things that you go through and you learn to deal with as a kid. And so I just start to share my story, like, hey, I remember these kind of situations. Just let me just talk to you about what happened to me.
So as soon as you relate, they kind of soften up and they feel, you know what they feel like.
Absolutely.
Do you meet with these, you got at your office, you go to them, you mobile with some of these clients?
Well, with my clients, I'm mobile. I've met in libraries. I've met in Dunkin' Donuts.
All free places. I love those places.
Right now, I don't have my own office. I am very mobile. And so I meet where I can, and I also have a makeshift office now out of my own home.
Hey, it's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And then with my youth group, this is a youth group that's held on Sundays, before church.
What do you do with the group? Is it a little different than one-on-one?
It's a little different because you have different ages and different guys are in different places in their lives. We could talk about self-esteem one a week, and it could just be hey, I just want to get some stuff off my chest. I have young men who are doing very well in school and are doing horribly in school. And so a conversation could go on for 35 minutes or so just about why they aren't getting along with their teacher, why they aren't getting along with their parents.
Now, other people chiming in, talking to the guy, or just...
Usually myself, some of my older guys who have been around a little while, they'll kind of chime in, like, hey, man.
I did this, and this didn't work. Yeah.
Once you start to have folks who open up to you, and cause then they begin to share, it's almost like a group where they help each other. There's sometimes where I'm just facilitating. It kind of takes a mind of its own. I just sit back and I observe, and I'll chime in and ask a question. I'll sit back and just let them talk, and I think that's helpful for them because they're in a safe environment, they're in a positive environment with their own peers.
Now the older ones, trouble trying to get a job, or
we're approaching that.
Okay.
We're approaching that. I have some young men who they have to get we still have to get licenses. I have one young man who's trying to get his job permit. A young man who's an excellent football player, has never had a job, and he's trying to get a job, but we haven't quite gotten to the job.
So it's younger group.
Correct.
So you play ball with him and stuff?
I try.
Oh.
I try. I used to play basketball. I used to be pretty quick. I'm not on the court as much as I used to be.
So. You mean the age help is working against you?
Yeah, I have bad knees.
So what wakes you up in the morning? What makes you go? This thing you're doing with people every day?
Knowing that I have an impact and that I can have an impact. And I think for me, it's a blessing to wake up every day to know that there's someone that I can impact just through sharing my story. And I appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that. And also, I'm carrying on a legacy.
Okay.
Yeah. The only father I've ever known was a mentor of mine and also my former pastor. I was only mentored by him for a few years. And he's had the biggest impact on me.
Tell me that story. I want to hear. We like stories like that.
Absolutely. Being a young, confused.
So how old were you then?
25-ish.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in there. Trying to make my way, not quite knowing I need something, but not knowing what it is. I ended up sitting in church one day, right, following a girl.
I don't know if that was the reason.
Following a girl. I was invited to church
Okay.
by a girl that I was dating. And so that's how I ended up in church. And I met this pastor, very charismatic. And I noticed that one thing I've never seen in any church that I've ever been in is that he would hug all of his members. And he knew them by name. And how's your mother doing? Is she okay? Is she still in the hospital? Or are you still looking for a job? He knew personal things about every one of his members. So I had to get to know this guy. And we went from, talking here and there after church to actually, having coffee together. And just his conversations and his questions, well, why do you still feel angry? You're going to college. You're dating a nice young lady. Why? What are you still angry about? What more do you want in your life? He just asked me these deep, thought-provoking questions that helped bring out certain things to me that I didn't know were there. I didn't know that I wanted to be someone who focused on empowerment. Through our conversations is how I learned that. Once I started to go through certain programs to train myself, unfortunately in the middle of that, he died. And so now I feel a responsibility to carry on that legacy. To just sit down with folks and...
This is like a movie. It's like, hey, he's telling us a movie.
Yeah, but that's what wakes me up in the morning.
And that's the reason why you do it.
Absolutely.
So do people come to you, or do you go find them? The young people.
It's a mixture. I get with the young folks now. I'm starting to get recommendations.
Nice.
Which is nice. Really nice. I'll have mom talks to mom, who talks to auntie, who knows, a cousin.
That's what you want. I'm sorry you're doing that, but we all want that in any business.
Hey, can you talk to someone for me? Absolutely. Bring them by. Bring them by on a Sunday. And that's for my younger folks. For my other clients, actually, I reach out to certain individuals.
So where were you, in the Hartford area or where?
Yes, East Hartford.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes, I am.
You got some work cut out for you.
Well, I'm originally from Bridgeport, Connecticut. I haven't seen a rougher environment since.
Bridgeport was worse?
Bridgeport was worse.
So the mentoring you got from him drove you into this.
Absolutely.
You might want to say.
Yeah.
When they're sitting there with you, they're pretty comfortable, right? The kids. We're at coffee shop, library, and they're looking up to you as a mentor, possibly a father figure in some scenarios, correct? You could be. How does that make you feel? Now, the people that have completed your program, that must make you feel really good. I used to compete, but when I taught and my students won, it was more important and it felt better.
There's no feeling like it.
Yeah. It's like your own child.
Yeah. I have 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I have a little one. There's no feeling like it. It warms your soul. That's the best way I can describe it. It really does.
So what do you, daughter, son?
I have a 9-year-old daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I have a son on the way.
Oh.
Son on the way.
Oh, you know ahead of time. Yeah, it's funny. We're having grandchildren too, and one wants to know, and one couple doesn't want to know. I'm going, why not? Yeah. And you notice that you love the grandchildren differently than your own kids. Dad, you never treated me like that. Oh, okay, whatever. But it is fun. Family's fun. Helping people is fun. That's what I like doing too. It's really great. What can I take from you today that I should know, and the audience should know about helping people? What's your key or your thing, your passion? What would it be?
My passion really is to see the chains fall off of someone's life.
I like that.
That's really my passion. When I can look into your eyes and I can see, and sometimes it's through a tear, sometimes it's through a shiver, but when I can see that I've affected you to a point where you're thinking deeply and you can share openly about what you feel, I know I've had a breakthrough. And that's my passion.
I was just thinking about something. Some of those kids that are, they don't feel, to hug them in the beginning, they might back off, right? Because some of them haven't had hugs and love, right?
It's commonplace for the younger generation, they'll dap, right? So there's a handshake.
Yeah.
And there's, some people have different things that they do. I'll go with my guys a pound, and then as they get more comfortable, sometimes they'll just come and hug me. I will not hug someone because I know how it felt for me as a young man. I didn't want you to touch me.
That's what I was talking about.
I didn't want you to touch me. You're not my father.
Yeah.
So why are you touching me? And so knowing that's how I felt as a younger man, we'll do a pound, and as you get more comfortable, you want to give me a hug. I have guys who give me hugs now, and it's like, oh, you're big and bad and you're tough.
Yeah, but you broke it down. It's kind of fun now. You're having fun.
Yeah.
You work with young ladies too?
Not through the ages of 9 through 15. Usually a little bit older.
Now, are they different? Guys are tough, but I've seen some tough women too. So you got to break that barrier down and open that up. But I like that chain part. They got the key to unlock it themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're the vehicle that's showing them how to get that way. Absolutely. And you're never giving up on them.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You have some folks who sometimes it can be really difficult, but you can't give up. Why do this if you're looking for a cakewalk?
Yeah, or a pat on the back. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not about you. That's we all do the same thing. Even though you're doing it and I'm teaching, it's about the people that you're helping. It's not about you at all.
Absolutely.
And the more they know it, the better they feel.
Absolutely. I like to consider myself to almost be the ambassador of your future self.
That's catchy. I like that.
Your future self wants to meet you, but there's a whole bunch of things in between where he or she can't meet you. I'm that mouthpiece until you two can meet.
That right there was perfect. That's got to be your thing. That was great talking like that. People could picture that. That's what, picture words. You really painted a nice scenario of the future. Steal that from you.
We can share it. That's
Yeah.
fine.
What other points would you like to make tonight?
One of the points I like to make is that there is no obstacle. There is no obstacle. There is no mindset. There is no struggle that you are going through or have been through that you can't overcome. I'm a walking testimony of that. I've dealt with family close to my mother,
Yeah, you were talking about that.
drug addict. I'm originally from the inner city.
You didn't know your father.
Never knew my father.
Give me something I can't handle. There you go. That's a good one.
And yet I'm here and I'm speaking with you. We're talking about empowerment. There's no obstacle.
I'm glad you came today. I want to thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Tom's 2-minute tips or less. Tonight's presentation tip, how to practice. A lot of people believe that you need to practice to be perfect. That's a fallacy. The concept is practice is the path to expertise. Let's talk about 3 techniques you can use to improve your practice. Number 1, audio. You have to audio tape yourself. Everybody has an app on the phone, or you can get one. Most of them are free. I don't care if you're doing it in your car, in the bathroom. I wouldn't do it in the shower. Anywhere you are, keep them. Listen to them over and over again, and they're going to help you with timing, pausing, all the aspects you need to speak. There's an app called Ori, O-R-A-I. O-R-A-I. It's a free app. You speak into it. It talks to you about timing. It shows you when you should slow down or speed up, what percentage you have. It's a very good app. Number 2, the one everybody hates to do is video. You have to do it because some people say, I don't want to see myself. Guess what we see? You need to learn how to improve. The easiest way is with a phone or if you got a tablet, because these have great cameras on them. Videotape yourself every chance you can get and keep them again, just like the audios, and watch your progression. It's really good for you. Number 3, my favorite, the mirror. Everybody talks about using a mirror, but if you notice, right now I'm looking straight at the camera and I'm concentrating on my face. And that's what a lot of people do, and they say, I practice with a mirror, but I don't get the gestures right. Here's a trick. Hold a piece of paper up in front of your face and say your entire presentation, take it down, watch the recording, and notice, that'll help you notice your body language, which is an asset to your presentation. Use those 3 tips, and we're going to watch your presentation grow, grow, and grow. See you next week for the next tip.